These two people came from completely different worlds. And what is so striking about what the Samaritan does is how extravagant he is in his care. Not only does he not walk on the other side of the road, which he could have done just like the priest and the Levite, he stops. And not only does he stop, he bandages him up. Well, he could have left him on the road bandaged up, but he doesn't do that. He puts him on his animal, takes him to an inn. Well, he could have left him at the inn. He didn't do that either. He waited on him at the inn. And then he could simply have abandoned the guy at the inn, but he doesn't do that either. He pays for the man's continued care until he comes back. He says, I'll even pay you more when you come back. That's the parable that popped into my mind when I was asked to teach at the Campbell State Prison. You know, here I am, a well-educated guy. I have been in, as a student, some of the finest institutions in this country. I've taught at some of the best institutions in this country. I have a wealth of biblical knowledge. So here I am thinking, I'm going to walk into that prison and I'm going to give them what they need. What a pompous ass I am. Boy, what I recognized in walking into that prison is that if I'm like anyone in that particular parable, it's the man who was mugged and left half dead on the Jericho road. That in fact it were the inmates. The inmates were the ones who were the Good Samaritans. The inmates are the ones who could have left me half dead on the Jericho road, but the inmates welcomed me. The inmates took me in. The inmates listened to me. The inmates respected me. The inmates looked forward to me coming. It has been the most remarkable experience of my life, I think, being with these inmates, these convicted felons who love Jesus. I quickly found out this wasn't a relationship between equals at all. I am their student. I have in my group men that get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to pray and read Scripture. How embarrassing is that to me? And how challenging is that to me as well? I have people who go to that chapel, who pray and read Scripture so faithfully, who have never stepped foot in a church before. They came to the Lord in prison, and they may never get out of prison. But they know the Lord, and they know the Scriptures, and they can debate any theological issue that you want to debate, they'll take you on. How embarrassing is that for the church? Where is the same kind of zeal in the church that I see in my maximum security prison? In my Monday class, I tend to lecture, and then as soon as I open my mouth, I start getting questions, so I really never do lecture. I just start throwing questions at me one after another, and an hour and a half later, I am just completely drained. My shirt is soaked, and I'm mopping my brow and everything. These guys have such incredible and such intense questions. And these aren't sort of academic questions like my students ask, like, Professor, is this going to be on the final exam? None of that. I don't get any of that in my prison class. But I don't have a chance really to interact with them as I would like to, because it's a relatively large group and they're coming from all kinds of different places, and it really is very difficult to sort of focus on any one. So I decided 3 months ago to start a small group. I got together the leaders of the chapel program, and now on Wednesday nights we meet for an hour and a half, just a smaller group. And I had, just Wednesday night, 16 convicted felons in a tiny room. in one of the most amazing experiences of honesty and openness I have ever witnessed. Convicted felons talking about what do you do when you're supposed to love someone who you don't like. And people in that room saying, I don't like you, but you're my Christian brother. How am I supposed to love you? Help me. God, change me. It was the most amazing experience. It came time for me to speak after everyone had had a chance to speak, and I really was speechless. I was so overcome with their honesty and their desire to do God's will. This is what's required of us. Tell us, how are we supposed to love those who we don't even like? Now that's a Bible study. That's a sharing group. That's the kind of experience we need in the church. This is happening in the world. It's just not happening in the church, in the Presbyterian church, to the degree to which it could. We have men's groups. You all represent men's groups. What are your men's groups doing? What are they focusing on? Are they getting at what's of ultimate concern to the individuals in that group? Are we encouraging others to talk about their faith? Because that's how we're going to pass it on. We need to practice talking about our faith in a safe environment. Because we're going to be asked to speak about our faith in what's not such a safe environment in the world. So we need to practice in a safe place. Men have a tremendous power. A power of presence, of simply showing up, which I think is 95% in fact of what I do at the prison. Simply show up. But we also have power in the words that we speak. When we speak from the heart, lives are changed. And we're changed in the process. Men have power, whether we recognize it or not. Our actions and our words matter. God has done remarkable things in the lives of each of us. And we need to share that with the world. Not only for the world's sake, but for our sake as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Myers. Another round of applause for Dr. Myers. So now I've learned I'm a powerful woman. I think we're doing the photos next. Is that right, Dave? So, Dave, you want to come up and direct or whatever you want to do? And go outside and stand behind the line, inside the lines. Hold up. After that, we've got the breakout groups, of course, and then we have, we start back up here at 10:30, so I'll look forward to seeing you back here then. All right? Thank you, gentlemen.